Your very interesting lecture, and especially for having taken such a positive and constructive and courageous attitude. Now, my question is that when you speak of morality, which kind of morality do you evoke? Because we know that the jihad was declared against, at the beginning of the war, the First World War, by the Turkish government. And that the massacre, the genocide of the Armenian was done in the context of a jihad, because the imam were themselves organizing it and reading the verses of the Quran when the massacres occurred. So now, if we are going back, we want to recognize the error and the wrong of this genocide, we have to criticize the jihad. And this is a tremendous difficulty to do, especially now when the Middle East is going very strongly towards Islamic fundamentalism. So this is another aspect also, I think, that the Turkish people, which have modernized so much and so well, it is another challenge for them to do it as a model for the rest of the Muslim world.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your talk. I'd like to touch again on national security, as you brought it up earlier. If we look at it, it is undeniable. Everyone has their own rights to self-interest and democratization and so on and so forth, including the Kurds. However, when we look at it as a matter of national interest, the Kurds, one of the demands is they want to establish a Kurdish state. I don't believe any country in today's political environment would be willing to see a part of the national territory carved out. In the same way, should the Armenians be offered some level of compensation? I highly doubt. If I look at the Rwandan genocide as an example, I mean, rather than materialistic things, simple dialogue and talking has helped solve a lot more than compensation. There was theoretically no compensation offered through the genocide, in Rwanda that is. And I don't think it would be viewed as positively. You already have a regime that is against recognizing this genocide. I believe that if you pulled out compensation out of it, they would be more willing to accept it, because they don't have to give anything more as a result. However, that is just my opinion. But thank you.
If I may, my question is that when we talk about the Armenian genocide, it's often presented as if it's Armenian history, opposed with Turks as if they are outside actors to this history. And a couple of months ago, I was in a conference in England, scholarly conference, and there were a number of young Turkish scholars working both.
Kerem was there with you. Kerem Akçam.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah, he was one of the organizers, and I was for the first time saw that there's so many Turkish scholars, young generation, for whom the Armenian genocide is not the history of the others, it's their own history. So someone was saying that in Eastern Turkey, you can't find a family without having some members who are of Armenian origin. So this is not the history of the others, this is the history of the people of Turkey. So I wanted to put this as a question to you. And if I may, if we still have time, another question is that you are writing books about this topic, you are doing research in archives. What questions do we still need to pose? What mysteries do we still have to go back to history to discover? What questions do we still have to ask to the archives?
I start from the last one, that I usually do. What is missing? A lot of aspects of Armenian genocide is missing. We mostly approach and understand and talk this issue as a political problem and not enough as a scholarly problem. I tell you a shocking number. In the entire North America, there is no one single another Armenian genocide scholar than me. I'm the only one active Armenian genocide scholar who researched on Armenian genocide. There is no any other scholars. So this shows you the situation in the field. What we need new researchers. We know what we know on Armenian genocide very generally. In the early stage of Armenian genocide research, there were some good books and documentations. We know approximately the general frames. We know what happened approximately. But we don't know really what really happened in different local levels. We don't have any history of Harpert. We don't have any history of Sapastia. We don't have any history of Diyarbakır, Dikranagert. We don't know what really played in these each local places. Nobody wrote about it. And we need more researchers for these local developments. Let me connect this to the question of jihad and Islam. It is important, and we don't know really what was the mindset, the ruling elite, when they decided to exterminate approximately 1 million of their own citizens. Genocide research can be boiled down into two major questions. One is, what happened? And second question is, why it happened? As I said to the question, what happened? We have a very general answer, not in details. What I mean in details, not only the local histories, you will see now and read in my book, if you find it, the new English book, you will find that there is an episode in Armenian history nobody worked and has written on it. This is the period between 1915 May and 1915 December, Syria and Iraq today's. You all think that the Turks or the Ottomans sent the Armenians and killed them all there. What I discovered, based on some Armenian sources also, there was a policy of settlement. To your surprise, I give some basic sentences or information based on the Aleppo archival records. Halep, the Armenian church record in Aleppo. 1915, the Aleppo church, Armenian church, established a relief committee, and this relief committee worked until end of 1915 November with Ottoman authorities together to settle the Armenians in certain areas. Have you ever heard this as a systematic settlement policy? They gave up this policy and organized a second wave of massacres, which we know, Der Zor. Der Zor is the Auschwitz of the Armenian genocide. So why? Why they wanted to settle Armenians first? Then why decided to move and to exterminate them? To the question of why, we haven't answered enough. One answer is, as the lady said rightly, religion. And this is one of the most accepted, widespread understanding of Armenian genocide. Turks are Muslim, we are Christians, and according to Muslim belief, we are infidels, gavurs, and when the occasion allows, the Muslims kills the infidels. There is nothing new, and Turks, as a barbaric nation, they found the opportunity. They were barbars in any way, and they did in the past, and they repeated because war gave them opportunity. Indeed, then the argument would go, the jihad exploration. What played religion a role during the genocide? We haven't discussed yet this enough. I tell only a couple of words related to jihad. To your surprise, I think 1914 November Jihad Declaration played no role at all in the genocidal process. It was basically pushed by Germany and made this declaration. Ottoman government unwillingly made this declaration because of German policy. Germany thought by this jihad declaration they could mobilize the Indian Muslims against the British rules, or the North Africans against the British and French authorities there. We have enough scholarly work on jihad that it didn't work. You are right in the sense of what was happening in certain local places. Indeed, in some places, some Muslims went and killed Christians because they were Christians. But to your, again, information, the major resistance throughout the genocide period came from observant Muslims. They saved the Armenian lives, who believed in Quran according to their way of interpretation. They saved Armenian lives. And I hope I will have time to write on these single events, and I give you a couple of important information. In Kastamonu, the Muslim neighborhood